Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to embark on a pretty special journey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a deep dive into Ramadan, especially for those of you experiencing it for the very first time.
Awesome.
It's a month of, immense blessings, spiritual growth, and a chance to connect with Allah in a really profound way. And we'll be using a guide specifically designed for new Muslims navigating Ramadan.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, to help you every step of the way.
I think what's so beautiful about this guide is that it goes like beyond the surface. It's not just about the mechanics of fasting.
Right.
It really delves into the heart of Ramadan, the why behind the what.
Exactly. It's like it understands that feeling of, okay, I'm excited, but also a little overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I even begin? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And the guide tackles that head on. It starts by emphasizing that Ramadan is about so much more than just abstaining from food and drink.
Right.
It's a journey of self-discovery, a time for deep introspection, and a chance to strengthen your relationship with Allah.
And I love how it frames that. It
Yeah.
says something like, fasting isn't just about the physical. It's about fasting from worldly desires to nourish your soul.
Wow.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, it is. And it connects beautifully with the idea that Ramadan is a time to truly connect with the Quran.
Yeah.
It's the month the Quran was revealed.
Right.
And the guide encourages you to see it not just as a holy book, but as a practical guide for life.
That makes so much sense. It's like, okay, I'm embarking on this new journey of faith, and I have this incredible guidebook to help me navigate it.
Mm-hmm.
But how does that actually work?
Yeah.
Like, how can our listener use the Quran in a practical way during Ramadan?
The guide suggests approaching the Quran with an open heart, taking the time to reflect on the verses, and thinking about how the teachings can be applied to your daily life.
Okay.
It even suggests trying to read the entire Quran during the month of Ramadan.
Wow. Reading the entire Quran in a month. That sounds like a big commitment,
It is.
but also an incredibly rewarding one.
Yeah,
I bet there are some helpful tips in the guide for making that happen.
absolutely. The guide breaks it down into manageable daily readings and even suggests setting aside a specific time each day for reflection and contemplation.
Okay, so we've talked about the spiritual significance of Ramadan, but let's get to the practical side of things.
Okay.
Fasting from sunrise to sunset can be a challenge, especially for the first time.
Right.
What advice does the guide offer for making the experience easier?
The guide really emphasizes the importance of taking care of yourself physically, especially when it comes to food.
Yeah,
It talks a lot about the importance of suhoor, the pre-dawn meal, and iftar, the meal at sunset.
right.
It's not just about when you eat, but what you eat.
And this is where it gets interesting. The guide actually gives some pretty specific dietary advice.
It does. It talks about incorporating complex carbs like whole grains and legumes, which provide sustained energy throughout the day.
Okay.
And of course, hydration is key, so make sure you're drinking plenty of water during non-fasting hours.
I think what I appreciate about this guide is that it's not just telling you what to do,
Yeah,
but it's explaining the why behind it.
right.
Like, okay, complex carbs are important for energy, but here's why that's especially crucial during Ramadan.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just food. It also talks about the importance of sleep and managing your energy levels throughout the day.
Okay, so we're fueling our bodies, we're connecting with the Quran, but what about the other spiritual practices?
Well, this is where the heart of Ramadan truly comes alive.
Okay.
The guide talks about practices like tikr,
Mm,
which is the remembrance of Allah,
right.
and how to incorporate it into your daily routine.
Okay.
Even something as simple as saying Subhanallah, glory be to Allah, throughout the day can make a huge difference.
It's like creating this constant connection, this awareness of Allah's presence throughout the day, isn't it?
Exactly. And the guide also emphasizes the importance of prayer.
Yeah.
Ramadan is a time to connect with Allah through prayer in a deeper way.
Yeah.
It encourages increasing your prayers, both the obligatory ones and the optional ones.
So it's not just about maintaining your regular prayer routine, but about taking it a step further during this special month.
Right.
And you know what else the guide talks about that I find so inspiring?
What's that?
The power of community.
Absolutely. Especially for new Muslims, finding your community can be so essential.
The guide encourages joining Islamic gatherings, attending Taraweeh prayers, and seeking guidance from fellow Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And it even talks about the blessings of breaking your fast with others,
Yeah,
sharing meals, and experiencing the joy of Ramadan together.
it's true. There's something incredibly special about the energy of Ramadan, especially when you experience it within a community.
Yeah.
It's like everyone is on this journey together, supporting each other and celebrating the blessings of the month.
And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Islam. It's not just a personal journey.
Right.
It's a communal one. We're all in this together, striving to become better versions of ourselves and to draw closer to Allah.
I couldn't agree more. And the guide really captures that spirit of unity and support.
Yeah.
It's like it's saying, you're not alone on this journey. We're here for you, and we're excited to share this experience with you.
And that's such a powerful message, especially for those who might be feeling a little unsure or overwhelmed. It's
Yeah.
like a warm embrace welcoming you into this incredible faith with open arms.
And you know what else I love about this guide?
What?
It's not afraid to acknowledge the challenges.
Yeah,
It talks about the common struggles new Muslims might face during their first Ramadan,
right?
like dealing with fatigue and hunger, managing their time effectively, and even dealing with loneliness.
Yes. And it's so important to normalize those
It
feelings.
is.
It's okay to struggle, to feel overwhelmed, to have questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's all part of the journey. And the guide doesn't shy away from addressing those concerns head on.
It's like it's saying, we get it, we've been there, and here are some practical tips and strategies to help you navigate those challenges.
You know, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
We've talked about the spiritual significance of Ramadan, the importance of connecting with the Quran, and the practicalities of fasting and maintaining your energy levels.
Mm-hmm.
We've also explored the beauty of spiritual practices like dhikr and prayer and the incredible power of community.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I want to touch on one more thing that the guide mentions,
Okay.
which is incredibly important, especially for new Muslims.
What's that?
The guide talks about the challenges of maintaining motivation throughout the month.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, and it's natural for enthusiasm to ebb and flow.
It's true. And the guide offers some really helpful advice on how to stay focused and motivated even when things get tough.
Like what?
Well, it talks about the importance of reminding yourself of the spiritual rewards of fasting, setting achievable goals, and focusing on the positive aspects of Ramadan.
Okay,
It even suggests finding a buddy to share the journey with, someone who can encourage you and keep you accountable.
I love that. It's like having a spiritual cheerleader in your corner, someone to celebrate your victories with, and to help you get back on track when you stumble.
Exactly. And it goes back to that theme of community and support that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this alone.
You know, as we talk about motivation, it reminds me of something I read in the guide.
Oh, yeah.
It talked about seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, especially during Ramadan.
Yes. It frames those moments where you might feel like giving up as chances to dig deeper, to strengthen your resolve, and to remember why you started this journey in the first place.
Exactly. It's like a test of your commitment, a way to prove to yourself and to Allah that you're serious about this path.
And you know what? Even if you slip up, even if you miss a fast or struggle with a particular aspect of Ramadan, the God emphasizes the importance of forgiveness and starting anew.
Okay,
It's never too late to get back on track.
that's so reassuring, especially for someone who might be feeling a bit discouraged or overwhelmed.
Right. It's a reminder that Allah is merciful and that He sees our efforts even when we fall short.
Speaking of special moments in Ramadan, the guide dedicates a whole section to the last 10 nights of the month.
Ah, yes. The last 10 nights are incredibly significant in Islam. They hold immense spiritual weight and are believed to be a time when blessings are multiplied and prayers are answered.
The guide specifically mentions Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree.
Right.
It explains that it's a night more blessed than 1,000 months.
Wow.
It's the night when the Quran was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Exactly. And because no one knows exactly which night Laylatul Qadr falls on, Muslims are encouraged to spend the last 10 nights of Ramadan in intense worship seeking that night and its immense blessings.
So how can our listener make the most of these special nights?
Well, the guide suggests a few powerful practices. One is engaging in itikaf, which involves spending time in the mosque, dedicating yourself to prayer reflection and Quran recitation.
It sounds incredibly powerful to be immersed in that spiritual atmosphere during those special nights.
It is. It's a way to disconnect from the world and to connect with Allah on a deeper level. The guide also suggests increasing your du'as, your personal supplications to Allah during this time.
So it's a time to really pour your heart out, to ask for guidance, forgiveness, anything that's weighing on you.
Yes, and to express your gratitude for all the blessings in your life. The last 10 nights are a time of immense spiritual potential, and the guide emphasizes that making sincere du'as during this time can be incredibly impactful.
The guide also mentions giving in charity, particularly during the last 10 nights.
Yes, and this is a beautiful way to extend the blessings of Ramadan beyond ourselves. It's about sharing what we have with those in need and recognizing that our wealth is a gift from Allah.
You know, as we're talking about all this, I'm struck by how this guide manages to be both practical and deeply spiritual at the same time.
It's true. It provides concrete steps and advice while also weaving in the deeper meaning and purpose behind those actions.
It's like it's saying, here's how to do it, but more importantly, here's why it matters.
And I think that's what makes this guide so valuable, especially for new Muslims. It's not just about ticking boxes or following rituals, it's about understanding the heart of Ramadan and embracing it in a way that feels authentic and meaningful.
I couldn't agree more. So for our listener who's about to embark on this incredible journey, what's the one piece of advice you would offer them from the guide?
The guide encourages you to approach your first Ramadan with patience and perseverance. There will be challenges, there will be moments of doubt, but it reminds you that every step you take, every effort you make is seen and rewarded by Allah.
That's such a powerful message, especially for someone who might be feeling a bit intimidated by the thought of fasting for a whole month. It's like it's saying, you can do this, we believe in you, and Allah is with you every step of the way.
Exactly. It's a message of encouragement, of empowerment, of unwavering faith.
And I think that's what makes this guide so special. It's not just informative, it's deeply inspiring.
It truly is. It's like a beacon of light guiding new Muslims through the beautiful and transformative journey of Ramadan.
We've talked a lot about the practical and spiritual aspects of Ramadan, but I'd love to hear a little bit about your personal experience.
Yeah.
What was your first Ramadan like?
My first Ramadan was a whirlwind of emotions. I remember feeling this mix of excitement and trepidation.
Mm-hmm.
I was eager to embrace this new chapter in my life, but I was also nervous about doing it right.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling. It's like stepping into a world full of beauty and tradition, but also a world that can feel a bit overwhelming at first.
Exactly. And I remember feeling a bit lost at times, unsure of what to do or how to do it. But what really struck me was the kindness and support I received from the Muslim community.
That's so beautiful. Can you share an example?
Well, I remember going to the mosque for the first time during Ramadan, and I felt so out of place. I didn't know anyone, I didn't know the prayers, and I was struggling to keep up with the rituals.
Oh, wow.
But an older woman noticed me, and she came over and introduced herself. She took me under her wing, so to speak, and she patiently explained everything to me. She even shared her iftar meal with me and made me feel so welcome.
Wow, that's such a touching story. It really speaks to the heart of Islam, that sense of community, of compassion, of welcoming those who are new to the faith.
It does, and that experience really shaped my understanding of Ramadan. It's not just about individual piety, it's about coming together as a community, supporting each other, and sharing the blessings of the month.
And, I think that's such an important message for our listener. You're not alone on this journey. There's a whole community of people who are here to support you, to guide you, and to share this experience with you.
And even though there are challenges, there's also so much joy in Ramadan. There's the joy of connecting with Allah through prayer and fasting. There's the joy of breaking your fast with loved ones. And there's the joy of feeling that sense of unity and purpose with the Muslim community.
It's like this tapestry of experiences, of emotions, of spiritual growth, all woven together to create this truly unique and transformative month.
Exactly. And it's a month that stays with you long after it's over.
So true. And, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I can't help but feel a sense of excitement for our listener. They're about to embark on this incredible journey, and I have a feeling they're going to be amazed by the beauty and blessings they discover along the way.
I agree. And I hope this deep dive has given them the knowledge, the inspiration, and the confidence to embrace their first Ramadan with an open heart and a spirit of joy.
Beautifully said. And before we move on to the last part of our deep dive, I want to remind our listener that we're here for you. We're excited to be on this journey with you, and we're eager to hear about your experiences. So let's shift gears a bit and talk about some practical things that the guide highlights, especially for those who are new to prayer and Quran recitation.
Yeah, the guide does a wonderful job of breaking down these foundational aspects of Islam in a way that's easy to understand and follow.
Yeah, it starts with the basics of wudu, the ritual purification before prayer. It even has illustrations showing how to perform each step correctly.
Oh, wow. It's like having a visual guide right there with you,
Yeah,
making it less intimidating, especially for someone who might be learning this for the first time.
exactly. And then it walks you through the different positions of prayer, explaining the meaning behind each movement.
Yeah, I remember finding that so helpful when I was first learning to pray. Understanding the significance of each action made it feel more connected, more meaningful.
Hmm. The guide even includes the Arabic text of some essential prayers along with transliterations and translations.
That's so important. It allows you to follow along even if you're not yet familiar with the Arabic language.
Right, and it talks about the importance of finding a quiet space for prayer, a space where you can connect with Allah without distractions.
I think that's something we often forget in our busy lives. Creating that sacred space, even if it's just a corner of your room, can make a huge difference in your prayer experience.
And the guide doesn't stop there. It also offers guidance on Quran recitation.
Okay.
It talks about the importance of pronunciation and even suggests listening to recordings of renowned reciters to get a feel for the rhythm and flow of the verses.
I love that. It's like immersing yourself in the beauty of the Quran, not just reading the words, but hearing them come alive.
The guide even suggests setting a goal for how much you want to read each day, even if it's just a few verses.
Okay.
It emphasizes that consistency is key.
That's such a valuable point. It's not about rushing through the Quran, but about savoring each word, reflecting on its meaning, and letting it touch your heart.
And, as we talk about all this, I'm struck by how this guide really anticipates the needs of a new Muslim. It's like it was written with so much care and compassion.
It truly feels like a gift, a welcoming hand guiding you into the beauty and richness of Islam.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Ramadan, I want to leave our listener with a few final thoughts from the guide. It emphasizes that this journey is about progress, not perfection.
Yes, it's about striving to become better versions of ourselves, to draw closer to Allah, and to make a positive difference in the world.
It also reminds us that Allah sees our efforts, our struggles, and our triumphs. He rewards our sincerity and guides us along the way.
And perhaps most importantly, it emphasizes the power of community. It encourages new Muslims to connect with others, to ask questions, to seek violence, and to celebrate the blessings of Ramadan together.
Because this journey is so much richer, so much more meaningful when we share it with others.
Absolutely. It's about building a support system, a community of faith where we can uplift each other, inspire each other, and help each other grow.
So for our listener who's about to embark on their first Ramadan, we want you to know that you're not alone. We're here for you, the guide is here for you, and the entire Muslim community is here to welcome you with open arms.
Embrace this journey with an open heart, a thirst for knowledge, and a willingness to connect with others. You'll be amazed by the beauty and blessings you discover along the way.
And we'd love to be a part of that journey. Please subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into Islam. Share this episode with anyone who might find it helpful, and leave a comment below about what resonated with you the most.
Let's build a supportive community together, a community where we can learn, grow, and inspire each other on our paths to Allah.
Until next time, may Allah bless you and guide you on your journey of faith.